In June of 2014, the Pyramid Lake Environmental Department held its first annual Kooyooe Tukadu Youth Camp. The theme for this year's camp was Fire Flame of Knowledge, which in Paiute translates to Koso Supitakwatun Pa Newun. The camp was held in beautiful Hardscrabble Canyon near Sutcliffe, Nevada. This beautiful canyon overlooks Pyramid Lake and encompasses many beneficial natural resources such as healthy streams, native vegetation, and suitable habitat for wildlife and aquatic species. There were a total of 9 students who attended the camp, ages 13 through 18. Each of the students expressed a high level of enthusiasm and eagerness to learn. Our presenters included environmental staff, elders, professors from the University of Nevada, Reno, Nevada State BLM, and traditional and cultural knowledge holders.
There's a lot that we do within the environmental department, and so I think our youth camp was a real success in being able to bring out some of the youth and actually interact with our environmental staff out in the field, collecting water samples or looking at the different vegetation, looking at the wildlife, and also being able to interact with a lot of our technical experts and as well as environmental experts.
The primary purpose of the camp was to expose and educate our tribal youth about current and ongoing environmental efforts on the reservation, and to also generate an educational interest so the students may continue to pursue higher education and return to help preserve our traditional, cultural, and natural resources of the tribe. The students were introduced to botany and learned about plant parts, pollination, seed dispersal, and how plants adapt to their surroundings. They were also taught the significance of identifying plants through plant dissection and characterization. Plant dissection allowed the students to see plant parts up close and understand the uniqueness of each plant and how to differentiate between plant species. They were introduced to the major plant families within the Pyramid Lake Reservation, such as grasses, sedges, rushes, mustards, and sagebrush. The students then took their knowledge into the field where they became familiar with riparian and rangeland plants. They learned the cultural significance of plants by learning about how our Numu ancestors utilized plants for tools, medicine, food, and traditional uses.
You can pull it off and you can twist it and you can make string from it. This wood is really strong, and so you can line your baskets with that, like the cradle board, the hoop. You can put that around the edge to make it stronger.
The students also learned how our water quality program tests and monitors the health of our water resources through assessing rivers, lakes, streams, and wetlands within the reservation.
It's important to monitor water quality and protection of the tribe's natural resources, mainly the Truckee River, as well as Pyramid Lake, as well as the streams up in the mountains. And so it's important to monitor that because we have to protect all of the natural resources, including the vegetation, the wildlife, and of course for the use, for the cultural significance of the Paiute people. Yeah, the importance of the stream assessments is to allow us to get a better idea of the water quality of the streams up in the mountains. And we go up there and we take our typical water quality readings with our YSI sonde device. So we'll take some of the field readings. We also take some grab samples of the water to test at our water quality lab. And then we also walk the stream in different segments to look at the canopy cover, the substrate, and also the bed of the streams. And also we also do take our bug samples, and those are a good indicator of water quality.
Maintaining and continual monitoring of our waters is critical for the continued protection and restoration of the tribe's culturally endangered and threatened fish species, the Kooyooe and Laha'an cutthroat trout.
During the youth camp, we had the youth come down to the hatchery to see how the process evolves. And we showed them our spawning channel where we collect our eggs and fertilize them. Then we take the eggs up to the hatchery and put them in incubation trays. They remain there for just about a month until they hatch out. Then they're transferred to small tanks where they begin swimming and feeding on artificial feed that we give them. And then as they grow larger, we thin them out into other bigger tanks, and we usually grow them up to about 4 to 6 inches before we take them down to our lake facility. They're held there for at least 2 weeks to acclimate to the lake water, and then we transfer them out to the lake. And it usually takes them 3 or 4 years of growth before they become available to the fishermen.
Implementing cultural and traditional knowledge was crucial throughout the duration of the camp. Cultural activities included storytelling, Numu games, Numu language, and Numu astronomy. The students spent time with elders learning about stories that have been passed down through many generations. They were also taught about constellations and how our ancestors relied on the stars for survival.
Youth camp, I believe it is really important because there's a little bit of everything that the kids are learning. And the kids, nowadays we don't have the grandparents that can teach us things. So it's good for them kids to go and learn. And we as a whole, community members are their teachers.
If we lost our language, we would lose our identity, because our identity identifies us from what area we're from, what we're known as, and it's important for our youth to learn our language so in turn they could carry on and teach their children and future generations.
My biggest concern is our water and our fish, because we need to keep it healthy and safe for our future generations.
To hear the words come out of our youth, again, was just so refreshing because they're so anxious to learn and willing to learn. It's something that I know will stay with me for a very, very long time.
I think it's really important for this youth camp to happen because the youth are eventually going to be the caretakers of the land, and as you can see, our lake levels are dropping. They're slowly going down, and our fish populations are eventually going to be impacted. And so it's really important to educate the youth about some of the current environmental issues that are happening, and also really preparing them for the future so that our natural and our cultural resources can be preserved.